For more, I want to bring in Leigh Scheps. She's a senior reporter for Inside Edition Digital and CBSN's Broadway contributor. Leigh, thanks for being here. So what was so remarkable about the way Sondheim's career unfolded?
Lana, well, Stephen Sondheim is considered by many as the Shakespeare of our generation. Like we saw in that package, he created so many groundbreaking musicals. He was a prolific musical theater composer that changed the landscape of how a musical can be written. He started out at 25 years old writing the lyrics to West Side Story, followed by the lyrics to Gypsy in 1959. He wanted to write his own music. And so he set out to do that in 1962 with a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum, and he kept on writing from there, from A Little Night Music, Follies, Merrily We Roll Along, Sweeney Todd, Sunday in the Park with George in 1984, Into the Woods in 1987, Passion in 1994, and he kept on writing until this day. He actually had a workshop a few months ago of a new musical he was writing with Nathan Lane and Bernadette Peters. He has won so many accolades over the years, from 8 Tony Awards, a Pulitzer Prize, a Kennedy Center Honors, and I have the privilege of, in 2005, I actually handed him an award with the National Music Council when I was in college. I have interviewed so many composers during my career. Stephen Sondheim was not one of those, but I was so grateful to be in the room and be in his presence at that time.
Well, your eyes lit up when you described that encounter. He was also beloved by actors, musicians, and writers. We've seen eyes lighting up as people have been talking about him. Tell us more about the tributes that are rolling in.
Well, we saw a clip earlier in the segment from Patti LuPone at last night's performance of Company, where she tributed the entire run of the length of Company, this Broadway revival of his, to Stephen Sondheim. And also last night, a few blocks away at the Stephen Sondheim Theater, where Mrs. Doubtfire is playing, Rob McClure went on stage and gave a beautiful tribute to him. There were also flowers outside the theater laid there in his memory. So many tributes are pouring in on social media, of course, and I want to share a few of those that stood out to me. The first one from Bernadette Peters, of course, one of Stephen Sondheim's most beloved interpreters. Here's what she had to say on Twitter, and I don't have it written down, so if we can pull it up on the screen, we can take a look and see what she had to say. I am so sad to lose my friend, Steve Sondheim. He gave me so much to sing about. I loved him dearly and will miss him so much. Thank you for all the gifts you gave the world, Steve. Another composer of our generation, Andrew Lloyd Webber, also paid tribute to his colleague, Stephen Sondheim. Take a look at what he wrote. Farewell, Steve, the musical theater giant of our times, an inspiration not just to 2, but to 3 generations. Your contribution to theater will never be equaled. And of course, Lin-Manuel Miranda, someone who was mentored by Stephen Sondheim, wrote, "Future historians, Stephen Sondheim was real. Yes, he wrote Tony and Maria and Sweeney Todd and Bobby and George and Dot and Fosca and countless more. Some may theorize Shakespeare's works were by committee, but Steve was real, and he was here, and he laughed so loud at shows, and we loved him." Beautiful tributes pouring in, so many more on social media.
Yeah. And such different influences, and as we see in Lin-Manuel Miranda's, that it continues, as Andrew Lloyd Webber said, through multiple generations of theater. But it's not just people who have seen theater on Broadway. Leigh, before we go, tell us about Sondheim's place in pop culture and how you expect this legacy to live on.
When Stephen Sondheim, when I heard that he passed away last night, I verbally gasped. Why? He's 91 years old, and he had so much happening for him this particular week. So let me talk about pop culture. We saw Lin-Manuel Miranda's tweet. He's featured in Lin-Manuel Miranda's movie, Tick, Tick, Boom. Stephen Sondheim makes a cameo. It's his voice on an answering machine. He inspired Jonathan Larson, who wrote Tick, Tick, Boom, who inspired Lin-Manuel Miranda. Of course, that movie is now streaming on Netflix. Assassins, another Broadway musical that Stephen Sondheim wrote, is currently playing off Broadway. As we've been talking about, Company is set to open on Broadway on December 9th. He was expected to be at that performance on opening night. On December 5th, Mrs. Doubtfire opens at the theater named after him. And of course, on Monday is the world premiere of West Side Story. He wrote the lyrics to that. that was on Broadway in 1957. All of these events honor Stephen Sondheim and his work and his contribution throughout his career. And all of this is basically happening in this entire week. And in 20 years from now, his legacy continues because they're currently working on a movie adaptation of Merrily We Roll Along, starring Ben Platt and Beanie Feldstein, and they plan to shoot that over the course of the next 20 years. So you're going to hear Stephen Sondheim's name pop up forever in pop culture.
A man who created music and inspired musicians and so many more. Leigh Scheps, thank you.
Thank you.